You must have heard the phrase, fortune favors the bold, and that's exactly what I'm about to do, is be very bold. My name is Phil, and you're listening to The Lip. Yes, how do I say fortune favors the bold? Or why do I say that? Well, it's because for the first time ever using this new tablet that I've gotten earlier this year, am I going to record a third show and let it be stored on this tablet. Now, I haven't done it before. I'm going to experiment with it now. I know that I have but so much time in order to do so because, well, yeah, the battery life, it kind of moves kind of quickly. But if I do have everything that I want and it works just the way I choose, I hope that it does, I'll be able to get through this show and it'll be very beautiful. I'll have another week where I can now focus on the other shows that are coming up as opposed to the ones that I've already gotten my hands on. And it's good to test things out. Worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and I have to do this again next week anyway. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be fine. What episode am I doing? Well, just like I'm telling you right now, I'm just talking. And this is just talking number 26. And I'm going to be doing this episode very randomly. Got some pretty fun stuff that I want to talk about. At least I think it's fun. We'll find out. Hopefully, you'll enjoy it as much as I enjoy doing it, as I always say. Um, man, trying not to rush through this because I hope that this thing allows me to do the show with the length that I want to do it at. I'm confident. I think it'll work. We're going to throw that out there. And as a result of that, I'm going to go into the main event right now. Ringing that bell. Hmm. Let's see. Things that I want to just talk about. We're going to start off with, where am I going to start? Do I want to start here or do I want to start there? I'll start here. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll start here. Because just like in wrestling, which I am obviously a huge wrestling fan, I talk about it all the time, there are two very important spots in a wrestling show. That is the very first match, and that is the very last match of a show. Because the first one sets the tone. The last one is the big one that you want everybody to hear because it's the one that's gonna create the most buzz in theory. You got your the most anticipated thing that's going to happen. And I think that I want to set the tone the right way for this show. So I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to go with the fact that my friend Patrick Houston of Zenith Transportation has reconfigured one of his shows to the Zenith Training Channel. It's great. If you subscribe to him on all of his other stuff, you definitely need to subscribe to him on this training channel. I, in fact, just got done listening to episode, his latest episode. Now, as I'm recording this, it is July 23rd. Um, this episode's not going to come out until August 8th. So, he's going to have more content out there past this. But I had just listened to this episode in particular about him talking about his home gym that he just set up. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I want you to listen to it. But I will tell you that one thing he said made me actually write a different beginning to this just talking, which is kind of cool because it's actually very current. That he came up with something that he said about the idea of his home gym, the figures that he was using. Um, the price difference between what he is was paying for the Y and what he actually did after he developed and put together the equipment that he has in his home gym. Now, the fact that he said he was going to the Y made that light bulb go off in my head. Why? Why? Easy. Because from September 25th, no, that's September 25th, excuse me, from September 25 last year, almost a year ago, I went back to the gym after my back injury and my bicep tear. Now, prior to that, I had spent from 2017 till 2022 anywhere between 3 and 5 days a week in the gym. And the gym that I chose was Planet Fitness because I loved the hydro massage back then. It was great. Not a commercial. But after I got hurt, I ended up not going to the gym for a while. And we had a family plan at the YMCA that was still active, and I didn't take advantage of it. And very rarely we used it when the kids were going to some camps, and we used it for some swim time from time to time. But realistically, there was a whole lot of money we paid for a whole long time, and we didn't use it. And in September of 2025, I said to myself, self, my back is not going to stop hurting. My bicep, particularly, was beginning to atrophy. It was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. All the home PT that I was doing was just not good enough. I needed to actually do some more exercise. And so, in that September, which I probably have already gone over in previous episodes when I was talking about going back to the gym, um, I went to the Y, and I'd go there 3 times a week, sometimes twice a day, and I would do just like I did when I originally went back to the gym in 2017. All I did was go on the treadmill, and my plan was to do nothing but consistently go on the treadmill every time I went to the gym and do nothing else, not touch any weights until January. Whereas in 2017, I started in January and I didn't touch any weights until May 1st of 2017 because I wanted to get myself back into a cardiovascular shape. Now, in September, everything was going good. October, everything was going good. Then November came, and I was still doing the cardio, and I was still doing all that stuff, getting up early in the morning, like 5-ish, to come, and between taking my mom to dialysis at 5:50, so it's 6 o'clock in the morning she had to go, I would be in the gym on those days at 6, so it would be a little bit later for me, and then sometimes I would get up even earlier and go there at 5 on a, say, a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. But I'd get in there early and I'd get out. But during that time in November, I realized that, man, the atrophy, it was like my arm was getting really weaker, and I had to do something. I had to readjust my plan. So instead of waiting until January to touch weights, to get into some bicep curls, and doing some other stuff, upper body and lower body with weights, I knew that I couldn't wait anymore because if I did, the atrophy would continue and it would be a little bit worse, and I'd have to work a lot harder to try to get my arm back. And so I made the decision that in October, the end of October, that in November, I was then gonna go and start lifting weights, and I did. Now, fast forward from that point, November 2025, until about 3 weeks into January. Now, during that time, I would go into the gym. I might say hi to a person here or there, but it wasn't like any conversations. I was in, I was focused, I did what I had to do, I had my earbuds in, I did my workout, and I left. January 2025, like 3 weeks in, something changed. Now, I've made mention of it before where every gym, even the Y, there was a little bit of a surge there. In January, a whole bunch of people show up with their New Year's resolutions. I'm going to get in shape this year. And they show up and they start working out. And they leave within 2 months, usually gone by March. You might get two or three that are really hanging in there, and then they stay. If they get past March, they stay. And they become consistent for however length of time. A new guy, a younger guy, I could say he's younger guy because I'm 48. He was in his lower 30s, upper 20s. Had never been to the gym before. His whole life wasn't a gym guy, but he decided that he was going to start going to the gym. And he came in and he asked me if there's somebody that could help him figure out what he should start with. Now, I'm not a personal trainer. I have, I can't say that I don't have extensive knowledge because there's a lot of people who don't have as much knowledge as I have, but at the same time, there are a lot of people who have more knowledge than I have. Do I have enough to help somebody get started? Probably, but do I have the patience to guide someone when I'm in the middle of a workout? Definitely not. But I took the time because he was really uncomfortable with where he was, and personally, I think that if I didn't communicate with him, I think he might have just left and may never have gone back to the gym again. So I indulged him. I talked to him for a while. We got to talking, probably for me, which was a long time for me to talk to somebody in the gym, except for my old gym friend named Jim. Of course, that was great. Couldn't resist that, right? But his name was Jim, and he was a guy I only knew from the gym. Gym friend named Jim. But this young guy had never been in the gym. And he was trying to get ready to work out, and I knew that I didn't want to steer him wrong because everybody works out a little differently. Now, if he was to have sat down and we were to just take some time and going over some things, maybe I could have helped him a little bit more personally. But I knew that he was just getting started, and I was literally finishing up my workout. I was just about to go to the treadmill to finish off after I'd already done my weights. So I directed him to the trainers at the Y. I said, hey, you know, talk to him. He'll give you a tour, first of all, let you know what everything is. And then he'll probably ask you what your goals are and what you're looking to accomplish and what um, sort of workout equipment you should use in order to achieve your goals. And so we talked and got it through, and he went over to the trainer. And at that point, I went to do my thing and finished up, and I left. And then after that day, like I said, it was a couple weeks into January. I would see him every couple times when I would go. He would come in a little bit later than I was because I was there a lot earlier, and I'd see him just about in passing as I'm just about finishing up. He would be coming in to get ready to get started, and I talked to him. I asked him, "How you doing? You feel comfortable with everything?" Yeah, I kind of know what he said. He said that he was comfortable now after talking to the trainer. He'd been there a couple times that I missed him, and he was gonna be on a steady pattern and a nice workout regimen that he had. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Okay. And he went and he did his thing, and I would see him every couple days, all the way through until mid-February. What happened in mid-February? Did he decide that it was too much for him? Was he ready to just pack it in because he didn't like getting up early and doing all that stuff? No. What happened was we took a real hard look at how much it was costing to go to the Y with the family plan, and it was just me using the gym, and everybody else was still sporadic, and we would go and take the girls, and the wife would go sporadically. So it was really just me going. And the amount of money that we were paying for that gym was around twice the amount that Patrick Houston was talking about that he was paying. It was just like getting hit with a sledgehammer. It was bad. When you look at cost per person, five of us in general, if you broke it down that way, it's still pretty hefty per month. It really is. I'm going through myself now. If you broke it down per month, it would be something like almost $40 a person per month. And only one person was supremely consistent, and that was me. So it didn't make any sense to continue. And so I went back, as they say, to my first love. Went back to Planet Fitness. And I found that they have the one that's really close to me has a cryo massage. It's so much better. As much as I love the hydro massage, which is just getting it's a water massage, starts at your feet and it goes all the way up your back and up to your neck, and it's just great. Water hits you from underneath. It's incredible. The cryo massage is 10 times better. It has cold and heat in different areas, and you can make it all cold or you can make it all hot, and you can change it throughout the time that you're sitting on it, and it does it just it's incredible. I love the thing. It's great. One of the greatest inventions I ever had. Swear by my black card at Planet Fitness. It's just for that alone it's worth it. It really is. But back to the point, I had just really created a gym friend, and instead of him being the one to disappear, it was me who disappeared. Now, he was consistent all the way up until the day I went for my last workout at the Y. He was there that day, actually. And then I disappeared. I wonder what he thinks. And that's where my just talking is. Because I know what I think when somebody's at the gym and then they just all of a sudden they're gone. It's like, oh, he quit. Ah, he couldn't hack it. Oh boy. But now, when it comes to a person who was there prior to you, who was giving you information about how to work out, and then that person is no longer there, you gotta be like, oh my goodness, this person was hardcore. He was all in. And he quit? In my heart of hearts, now that as I'm recording this, it's July, the end of July, of 2026, and it was February, so you're talking February, March, April, May, June, July. So we're talking like 6 months that I hadn't been to the Y, and I've been at Planet Fitness again. Of course, I didn't take any break. I just went from the Y to Planet Fitness. There was no lull in between. It was just one day the Y, the next day Planet Fitness. But now for him, I hope that he didn't have any negative repercussions of saying, oh, that guy was all in and then all of a sudden he's gone. How am I going to keep doing this? Maybe I should just quit. I hope that that doesn't happen. That's where my mindset is. I hope that he continued on, and I hope that as long as he can A, afford it, and B, has the drive that he keeps going, and hopefully he doesn't stop. That's my only hope for that guy, is that he doesn't stop. Stay consistent and keep working. That's all I can hope for, and I really, really hope that he continued to do what he needed to do in order to get himself back in shape. And I hope he wasn't deterred in any way by the fact that I just disappeared. Hang on just a second. Sorry, just a little bit of paranoia. Okay, just a little bit of paranoia about But now we're going to move to the next thing. Where are we going to go next? We'll go to the paintings. Man, I'm sitting out here in my office and I have a cabinet that has my collector watches and a couple other things in it. And one of those things that's in that cabinet are probably 3 dozen paintings, maybe more. I have a couple bins out here, not just my cereal boxes, but bin that is full of more paintings, probably another dozen and a half. And then inside my living room, on the walls, you've seen them in those earlier days when I would record inside the house, which I'll probably start again in maybe October. You'll notice that there was paintings all over the wall. Now, since I've been out back in my office recording, I only had maybe one episode where I had a painting behind me, but I have like 40 paintings on my wall in my house that I created. I also have probably 25 to 30 more in my bedroom, just all over the place. I'm coming into a problem that Patrick Houston, my guy, told me that his wife is coming into, and that is you keep creating this stuff, but you don't have any place to put it because there's just so many of them. Like there's only so many spaces on a wall that you can hang a painting. There's only so many bins that you can put the painting in. I only have the one cabinet over there that I've been stuffing paintings in, and I haven't opened it to look for those paintings in probably 3 months. I gotta do something with these things. There's no question about it. I've got to really buckle down and start to sell them because if I don't, I'm gonna be completely overwhelmed. I'm gonna look like one of those hoarders from that show. But it's not stuff that I brought in and just kept. It's because I keep painting and the paintings are beginning to pile up to an almost epic proportion. Now, granted, I really started concentrating on painting in 2023, where I started signing and keeping track of these paintings. And that's 3 years worth of paintings. And I've probably been averaging, let me see, 2023, 2024, 2025, and this year. So 4 years worth of paintings. Excuse me. This year's not over, but over 4 years of paintings here. I've got three, I believe it's 4 series of paintings that I've done every year, which are just literally what it sounds like, series of paintings where I have a central theme and I would then create paintings that would be a part of that theme. And I've been doing it since 2023. So over that, literally 2023, 2024, 2025, and now 2026, 4 years worth of these things. And of those themes, each year, I've done 4 series each year. And each of these series has anywhere between 3 and 5 paintings. And I think in 2024, I had a series that might have had 6 paintings in one series. So you figure just in the series alone, I probably have, let's say, most of them have 4 paintings in each series. So we'll just round it to 4. So that's 16 paintings just in series for the year. Not to mention the individual ones that are just on their own. I probably make somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 paintings a year. This year I've slowed down. And the reason I've slowed down is because of 2 factors. Factor number 1 is No, I'll go the other way around. We'll start with two because two is less important. Two is the space. Like I said, I'm running out of room. I gotta move these things. But here in 2026 and in 2025, I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I think I deserve it, as everybody should think that they deserve it. I believe that I've gotten better, and because I've gotten better, and the ideas of what I'm coming up with are better than some of the ones that I did in 2023, which were a lot more simple. They've been more advanced each year, and they've gotten better. So the individual paintings from this year and the series from this year are better in my mind than the ones from even last year, or even maybe even 2 years ago. And the concepts that I've come up with are more advanced, so it's taking me longer to actually create the paintings for each series, as opposed to having that centralized idea and then coming up with it. I got something totally different, and it's like the series are more interesting than they were before. And I do believe that I'm gonna probably post some of those series on or around the time of this episode's release in August 8th, 2026. Probably before that, I'm gonna have to just show this stuff. I'm gonna have to because I need people to look at these things and I need people to buy them because if they don't, I'm gonna, like I said, look like one of those people from that show, Hoarders. It's gonna just be paintings that I personally made, not newspapers or um, china or silverware or cars. Which, by the way, I'm okay if somebody's hoarding cars. That's fine. But I think that it's time to really seriously consider doing something with these paintings because the last series I just finished, um, as I record this, I finished this series probably July 18th, 19th, I think it was. I finished the series of 2026, something like that. And I call it the Time series. And it's really interesting to me and hopefully to everybody else. What the Time series is would be hourglasses. I thought about this probably in June, July. I mean, not June, rather. Yeah, probably May or June. I thought about it. It's July now. So May, I thought about it. June, I started working on it, and I finished it last week. So it took me a couple months to finish these four paintings, which are the series. And the concept behind it is, well, the Time series is four hourglasses, four different hourglasses. Now, I thought about making them all exactly the same, but that's not what I do. And so what I did was I took the hourglasses and I made them different. But the theme of the series is that each hourglass starts off full until it gets to the final painting where there is no more sand running down. The first one, the sand is starting to flow. The second one, it's flowing more. The third one, it's almost empty. And the fourth and final piece of the Time series, all the sand has dropped into the bottom. And I think that that's the best way to go about it. Be right back. Mm. We're back. Had to just deliver some keys. But we're back. And that's the way the time series kind of works. And I have another concept that I worked on before, which I'm probably going to post, and I should, because it's fun. It's really fun. I made these paintings of various sizes. And these sizes are from a small canvas to a much larger canvas. And there's 5 of them. And I thought to myself, what if I made one big painting, like you've seen them sometimes, where there's multiple canvases and they create one painting. Now, I've done that with a couple things. But the what if was, what if I make it so that those canvases link together to make one painting from smallest to largest, from left to right, but if I switched the panels from largest to smallest, it would make a different painting. And then I thought to myself, as my youngest daughter noticed, you know what? If you work at it like this, you could actually configure them in any different form. So from any of the 5 different size canvases can be moved around, and from left to right, they will still make a unique pattern where they all fit together. I gotta show you this. It's crazy good. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up. If I can, I'd love to show you. Hopefully it comes out the way that I want it to. But if it doesn't, well, I'll have to show you a different way. Let me see. Is this? No, that's not the way. Okay, let me see if this will translate. I'm gonna have to look and see if I can see it. I don't know if you can quite see, but this is how it sort of looks, and that's the 5-to-1. But let's say I reconfigure it a different way with that same pattern. You can get this, which is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So this particular piece can be shifted in multiple ways depending on how you may actually want it to fit. And I think that that's a pretty neat concept. And later this year, I'm going to come up with another one similar to that, with that same general idea of multiple canvases that fit together to make different pictures. But this one's going to be even harder and more ambitious to work on, because the plan is going to be to work on a situation where I have maybe 4. I don't know if it's going to be 5. Probably going to just be 4. But not only from left to right will they make a unique painting, but I also want them to make unique paintings that link together if you put them in a square pattern. Top to bottom, I want them to be a unique pattern. And then change it in any direction where those can also be multiple different patterns. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is make one piece with four different things and create multiple different looks out of it. That's the game plan. Hopefully, it'll work. It'd be really cool if it does. That would be just exciting if I can make that happen. But in truth, what I really need to do is get some of the older ones out so I have room for some newer ones, right? That's kind of the plan. All right. We're going to talk about some dollar store stuff. My goodness. I had a very fun incident at the Dollar Tree. I talked about one earlier, but this is a different one. This is one of pure mayhem and desperation. And it's one that I could tell you, man, it was what some would consider a very close call. Ready for this? Because it's just, I can't even believe it happened. Here it goes. I'm even going to tell you the date. It was June 17th, 2026. That was the exact day. Now, I'm on my way to the Dollar Tree because, of all things, ran out of toilet paper, needed some quick. Dollar Tree's not far away from the house. Realistically, there's a sort of a case where you could make that I'm surrounded by Dollar Trees. There's one in both directions of my house. And I go in and to go get a couple of packs of toilet paper. It was a 4-pack that I saw. It was relatively cheap, $4, and it was good enough to make everything work the way I needed it to work. Just go in there, get some toilet paper, and get out. Didn't have to go to a big store. Didn't have to go to Walmart or anybody like that and get one of those gigantic 75 packs of toilet paper, which probably wouldn't have been the worst idea, but considering all things, it was the right time and the right size. So I go in and I go get the toilet paper. As I'm in there, I'm standing around and I go right to the spot and I look around as I always do as the corrections officer that I am. That's just never going to go away. I'm always scanning and I notice that there are 8 people in the store. Why is this important? We're going to get to it. But I notice that there's 8 people in the store. The whole store. Between the time I walk in, go all the way to the back to get the toilet paper, and come all the way up to the front, there are 8 people in the store. I get in line, and there's 2 people in front of me. And I'm standing there with my roll of toilet, my pack of toilet paper, my 4-pack of toilet paper. All of a sudden, I feel the worst case scenario. All of a sudden, I feel like I've got a fart. And I'm like, oh boy, this is not comfortable. There's 8 people who are sitting around. The cashier is going mighty slow, but I'm going to try to hold this sucker in. No big deal. So I'm holding it, because I don't want to be the guy who farts in the middle of a store while carrying toilet paper. People are thinking, oh, this is going to be a problem. And I'm thinking, I don't need that kind of pressure. And so I'm using the force to try to get the cashier to move faster. And apparently it does work, because he blows through those people without any problems. And I then pay for the toilet paper, run outside, turn my head, see a very interesting car that I'm going to talk about after this. Jump in mine, run home. Of course, I have to fart in the car. So I go ahead. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Uh-oh. This is not a good situation. We held on. Nothing came out, but it's on its way. This is the byproduct of taking 5 psyllium fiber pills a day. And I'm like, oh boy, we got something. Houston, we got a problem. But of course, I always say with Houston, there are no problems. Yeah, that was an advertisement. But I get home. I run into the bathroom, and sure enough, the Browns get to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, man, had I decided not to go and get this toilet paper right then, oh, what a problem it would have been. But somehow we made it. Everything worked. The trophy was passed around to Shedeur Sanders and his teammates. We won. The Browns won. They made it to the Super Bowl. It's great. Now back to the car that made me turn my head. While of course, as a car guy, I like to think that certain cars do turn my head, and this one was at the dollar store at the same time as I was on my way out. And the first thing that made me think of it when I saw that car was, my lord, times have definitely gotten tough. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, boy, if that's what you have to do in order to get this car, more power to you. This is the first time I had ever personally seen a car like this at a Dollar Tree. And granted, I've seen plenty of unique cars there. I think that, especially with the area where I live, there's a lot of Eastern Europeans and a lot of people who come from the stands, and there's a pretty good Jewish population around, and a lot of the people in this general area, they like European cars, just in general. There's a lot of European car love. You can see a lot of Mercedes and BMWs, a lot of them. Even with the work vehicles, they like to use those BMW, no, rather those Mercedes uh, work vans. A lot of that is out here. So there's a lot of European cars, a lot of VWs, a lot of Audis, a lot of that stuff. So to see one of those typically at the Dollar Tree, it happens all the time because they're just a daily driver. Because I say it 1,000 times, I worked with a guy who was from Poland when I was just getting started in the auto industry, and for him to drive a Mercedes or a BMW was like us driving a Chevy or a Ford. It's just what it was. I mean, there's a car. Here's the keys. This is what we got. It's different there than it is here. And so the people who are from those areas, are used to those types of vehicles, and they just go get them. So it's like a normal thing to see them at the Dollar Tree. But it doesn't really matter where you're from, unless that happens to be um, Monte Carlo. You don't typically just see a Maserati. They are few and far between. Alfa Romeos at certain levels, few and far between. So, when I turn my head and I see a black and silver Maserati at the Dollar Tree, I'm thinking to myself, self, what has gone wrong in this person's life? Or is it that they were just as desperate to get a roll of toilet paper as I was? That they just had to pull over now and get that toilet paper. But other than that, I mean, it's like, I don't know. This is almost a what are we doing? I've never seen a Lamborghini at one. I've never seen a Ferrari at one. I've never seen um, Alfa Romeo, McLaren. I saw one the other day, but I never saw one at the Dollar Tree. In all the time I've been to the Dollar Tree, I've never seen one. And that was the very first Maserati that I've ever seen, or Italian supercar type car, at a dollar store ever in my life. The first time ever. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is crazy. Are times like that? It's like, man, I just hope you're not going to Wawa and putting in regular gas. That would just be dumb. I could go into Octane one day and talk about the differences between regular and premium. And there is a difference. And I'll tell you that on the quick note, the difference between regular and premium is the same thing like jet fuel, which is aspects and the stuff that they use for the NASCARs. Where like you're talking 85, 86, 87 octane for regular, and then it's like 91 or 94 for premium or super ultra, whatever they want to call it. Like that jet fuel stuff is like above 100, around 115. It all has to do with one very simple thing: the temperature in which it burns. Just consider that. We're not going to get into it any deeper because that's not what we're talking about, but I just hope that that person doesn't put regular gas inside the Maserati after they've just dropped off the dollar store. Just hope that that's the case. Whew. All right. We're just about through the show. And I believe I didn't run out of power. So, yay me, yay us, success, success, success. And I'm going to go into the final piece of this show. Just Talking 26 is going to end with me talking about my kryptonite, my very strange weakness. And when it comes down to it, it's not pizza. No, no, no. Certainly, I love pizza, but it's not a weakness per se. It's not something that if I'm in the middle of a situation that it's going to take me out. No. This thing is a weakness that I can't overcome, and I don't know why. Strangest weakness ever. And it is a fact that it's a problem. I cannot tell when milk goes bad. I can't. I don't know why. I don't understand it, but it's just a fact. If milk has gone bad, I will not be able to tell. I can't. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a fact that if there's milk and it goes bad, and I'm in a room where everybody's tied up, and they tell me that if I can discover which milk has gone sour, they'll save everybody's life. But if I give them the sour milk, everybody dies. You're all gonna die. Just gonna let you know, you're all gonna die. Because I have no ability to tell if milk has gone bad. I can't. And when I say I can't, there's only one time when I know that it's bad. And that is if I pour it and I see chunks. Then I know it's bad. If I pour it into my bowl of cereal, I will take anywhere between 3 or 4 spoonfuls. And not just one. It's 1, 2, chew it, swallow it. 1, chew it, swallow it. 3, chew it, swallow it. 4, chew it, swallow it. 5, chew it, swallow it. Oh, something's not right here. It takes me that long The worst I've ever done was I actually ate a bowl and a half of cereal with bad milk. Couldn't tell it was bad until after I finished the first bowl and I started eating the second bowl. All of a sudden, my stomach started twisting, and I immediately went to throw up. And I'm like, man, I don't know what's wrong with me. One of the kids came downstairs, and I said, something's not right. And they were like, what's that smell? And they go into the kitchen, they grab the milk, and like, the milk's bad. What? The milk's bad, they told me. I just ate 2.5 bowls of cereal, and you're telling me that that milk was bad? Yep. 2.5 bowls of cereal that I downed. It wasn't 1.5, excuse me, it was 2.5. I ate a lot of cereal that day. It was insane because it was it was Golden Grams, and I love Golden Grams, and I was just eating the cereal, eating the cereal, eating the cereal, and it just didn't even dawn on me that it was bad milk. I couldn't smell it, but they immediately, as soon as they opened up the cap, they took a step back. I can't remember who it was. It was one of the older two. They took a step back. They're like, oh no, this is no good. And then just as recently as, oh, when was it? It was only a few days ago. It was here in July. As I'm recording this, it was probably, it wasn't long after the 4th of July. We're talking maybe, I don't know, July 10th, 12th, something like that. I go and I take 4 or 5 bites out of the cereal, and my daughter comes over to me, the youngest one, Maggie's like, and I tell her, it's like, I don't know, this doesn't quite taste right. After I ate 4 bites, 4 bowls, 4 spoonfuls rather, I go, hey, smell the milk, and she immediately knows because I tell them to do that every time before I get ready to eat cereal anymore because unless I literally just bought the gallon or half gallon and open it myself, I'll know that it's good. Maybe 2 days, I'll know that it's good. But after that, I don't know. I can't tell if it's bad. And she was like, "Oh, this is disgusting." And she's like, "Oh, you've been eating it, haven't you?" Yep. Did it again. It's just my weakness. I don't know why. I can't tell when milk has gone bad. It's just weird. It's terribly weird, but I can't do it. And just bowls of cereal alone, I know for certain that I've probably eaten, I don't know how many in the last 10 or 15 years, how many bowls of cereal that I've consumed while eating bad milk. How bad milk inside of it. And on that same note, I don't know how many um, protein shakes that I consumed with bad milk because I like the fact that when you add milk to a protein shake, you get a little bit more protein. It's like 7 more grams of protein if you use. I think I usually use low fat milk for it, and I don't know how many times I probably mixed up my shake and drank it down, and there was either a little twang to it or it was just didn't taste like it did the day before. And I was like, it's still alright. But 9 times out of 10, the milk had gone bad, and I just chugged the shake down anyway. And boy, it's just a problem that I have, and I can't figure it out for the life of me. But I know that it's a definite fact that I cannot tell when milk goes bad. And I gotta be careful about that because, boy, I think to myself now, the one thing that's good about it is the kids wouldn't tolerate it because there was times when I'd be ready to give them cereal because when they were much younger they drank a lot of milk, but of course we also had them drink a lot of water, which is one of the craziest and rarest things that, and I love it to death. Like when I was a kid, I just drank soda and Kool-Aid all day long, but my kids, you give them a glass of water, they're just as content as if you give them a bottle of soda. It's just great. It is. It really is. But there were times when I gave them milk, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna drink the milk, no problem." Boom, 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 boom. When they were younger, but hindsight being 2020, I know that one time when we were at Wendy's in particular, I'll never forget it. They were, I think, how young was Maggie at the time? So I think the other two were in second grade, so they're all really, really young. And Maggie was in kindergarten, I believe. And they took their tops off their milk and they all put them down. And because I was like, oh, whose top is this? Whose top is that? But they already drank down their milk from their kids meal. And I looked at the top and I saw that the date on one of the milks that they had drank had expired. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Wendy's had bad milk. And it was one of them, and they put all the tops down. And somebody drank the bad milk, but it was probably because you know how, as long as it's refrigerated, the date on the milk is literally just a sell by, not necessarily a go bad date, but it says sell by. So the milk was probably still good, but legally you can't sell it because they didn't have any issues with it. But I know somebody had one that was expired by like 2 days, and the other two, their milk was good by like 3 or 4. Somebody got the lottery wing and they got the bad one. I don't know who, but if it was up to me, I wouldn't have been able to tell. I just drank it all. Wouldn't have been any difference. I'd have been like, oh, okay, it's good. Meanwhile, the milk's gone bad. That is my absolute truth, and it is a weakness that I can't cure. Sorry, I wish I could, but I can't. And boy, I have no ability, none, to be able to tell if milk has gone bad. Now, on that note, I'm going to ring the bell and get in the main event. All right, let's go to the Spear of the Week. And again, this is not one of those Spears of the Week that is an individual. I'm probably not going to do one of them for another week where I've actually got somebody who deserves it. But in fact, next week's Spear of the Week, there are 2 people who deserve it. And we'll get into that when we get into that. But, yeah. Next week, as opposed to when this show comes out. This one is going to come out on the 8th of August, and then the one that has what I believe is 2 potential Spears of the Week, that's the 15th. But like I said, we'll get to that when we get to that. Truthfully, the only Spear of the Week that it could be this week is milk itself, because it is such an enemy of mine, and it goes so bad so quickly, and I can't tell when it is bad. Almost embarrassed to mention it, except for the fact that I realize that I have a real problem with it, and I gotta be real careful because, man, that bad milk will get you. It will get you. Spear of the Week, bad milk. Now, here comes one of them things that I like to do. Hmm. Hmm. I think I'm going to use this one. What do these 3 things have in common? A bad golfer, a bad writer, and a bad cough. And I think I got the answer. I believe I'm 3 in a row or 4 in a row where I've been right after having a streak of just not getting it. I think I got this one. Pretty sure I did. Bad golfer. bad writer, bad cough. What do those three things have in common? The answer is they're all hacking. 100% hacking cough, a hack writer, and if you just take a golf club and you swing it, you hack at it, pull up all the grass, that's it for sure. Hack. Streak is intact for a while. Alright, now to these questions. Let's see. Let me go farther back. I didn't even open these. Oh, I did. Let's see. This is a page that I haven't seen. I have two options here. Two that I really like. Man, this is a good page. A lot of questions here. Whew. Mm. My goodness, I could answer every single one of these questions on this page, and I would have constant entertainment. And eventually, I'm going to answer them all because that's the name of this thing. And then the one on the other side, these are all pretty good questions too, but there's one that stands out. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Huh. The one that I'm going to answer here is I'm going to have to go with this one. And because it's a funny story. So I'll go with it. The question is, have you ever had the chicken? Have you ever had chicken bogs? And the answer is yes, I have. I had them one time, and I had them for a long time. It was not a good time. It was horrible, and the scenario, it just writes itself. It should almost be a story. The idea of it. In fact, I don't know why I'm going to tell it to you from this question here. I should almost use it for the story episode because it's that ridiculous if I haven't already told it, which I may have. I was, of all things, in 10th grade. I was 15 when I got these stupid chicken box, man, and it was horrible. It was March of '94, I believe it was. Yeah, because it was my sophomore year, 10th grade, uh, 93, 94. Yep, it was 94, 95, would have been junior year. 95, 96 graduate. Yeah, so it was, yeah, it was 93, it was 94, March 94. I had, of all things, the most bizarre, weird, crazy scenario, and I'm not making this up. This is all true. Like, I should have made this a part of the Fact or Fiction episode when I think about it, if I hadn't already, because, boy, this whole thing is crazy when it's broken down. Sophomore year of high school, I'm having lunch with my friends, and we're talking about what we're going to do this weekend. It's like, well, it was in a good point in time, though. It couldn't have happened at a better time because it was just before track season. The, it, I'm so glad that it was because it was. I think the track season began in the end of March, and this happened in the beginning of March, maybe even the last week of February. I ended up eating lunch with my friends. We said, "Hey, what's going on?" We're talking, and we just sort of were getting ready to figure out what was going to go on. At the time, we were a regular at youth group on a Wednesday, and we had gone. Everything was cool. I was feeling fine that whole week, and this is now Friday, and I was gonna sort of rest, relax a little bit. Didn't have any plans to really go hang out with any of them, but we were just talking, and then I was like, all right, as I was eating lunch, and lunch was at that time, I had late lunch in my sophomore year. Was it the last lunch or the lunch before the last lunch? One of those two. It was around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. I had a late lunch. All throughout high school, I had the latest lunch. I would eat around 1 o'clock for lunch all those times. But I was eating, and then after I finished eating, went to my last class, and I wasn't feeling the best. But of course, it was okay because there was a lull between sports. I had just had my knee surgery a few months earlier, and I was getting back in the gym, feeling better. And I didn't really get to wrestle. And at that point, I was done with wrestling anyway, really, because I couldn't wrestle. I was just there for moral support pretty much in my sophomore year. Um, and so I went home at night, and I really started feeling odd, like it didn't feel right. Then Saturday came, and I just started itching, shaking, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 there they were, chicken pox, all over my arms, my legs, my back. Well, not so much my back, a couple of my back, not too many. It was horrible. Then went to the hospital, I think it was, to find out exactly if it was chicken pox, and they said it was, and they then gave me Benadryl. Said, here, take this. This will stop the itch. And they gave me a specific instruction. They said take one every 6 hours. So take 4 a day. Day number 3, the itching started getting bad, and well, I took 2 on the second time I was supposed to take them, and then I took 2 on the third time I was supposed to take them. And then, of course, this Benadryl now had built up in my system. And for the next 3 weeks of just taking the Benadryl and just sitting around, I somehow finished a book report for English and got a B on it. And the only thing that I remember are 2 things. And those 2 things were the theme song for the Tiny Toon Adventures and the theme song for the Goof Troop. because I was just out of it from that Benadryl. So for sure, I had the chickenpox, and it was just whew. Once a Benadryl hit me over that time, 3 weeks of taking Benadryl a couple times, taking it twice, I was done. I was so out of it that those are the two major things that I remember: the theme song to the Goof Troop and the theme song to Tiny Toon Adventures. And I could sing them, but of course YouTube would probably pay me, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna finish up. Check me out on Instagram at Philip Henderson 5102. Of course, join us. Join us on the Facebook group. Join us. There's always room for one more on the Lit Facebook group. Most importantly, I need you to subscribe to at Phil the Lip. That's going to be, of course, the channel that this show is going to be on, at Phil the Lip on YouTube. Now, just like I did last week, I'm going to do again this week. I'm just going to pick a random set of words of wisdom. Instead of actually calculating it and taking time and figuring out what I want to say, I'm just going to pull one out, and whatever it is, I'm going to go with it. This is a very random thing, but this actually kind of works. Considering one of the things I talked about was my paintings, this actually does make sense as words of wisdom. The value of your merchandise depends on the income of the customer. The value of your merchandise depends on the income of the customer. That makes a lot of sense. If you have certain merchandise and the people you run into have only $100 to their name, they're going to look at you sideways if you say, oh, I want to sell this for $50. That's half of what they've got. Is it worth half of what they have in order to give it to you? Whereas you might have your very same painting and there's a billionaire standing there, and you tell them, well, it's going to be $50,000. The billionaire will be like, okay, it's got more than enough money to cover it. So once again, the value of your merchandise depends on the income of your customer. Because they would value $50,000. Oh, it's a steal. I'll take it if I'm a billionaire. But for somebody who's only got $100 to their name, and you tell them $50, I mean, would I like to have a tank of gas? Would I like to get some food? Would I like to do this? Is that more important than whatever it is that you're selling at the moment for that price? The value of your merchandise depends on the income of your customer. And there you have it. Words of wisdom. And now, I can tell you that you've already figured it out by now that my name is Phil, and you have just listened to The Lip.